Welcome back. In today's episode, we're talking about how to convert viewers into customers. So this is a really important episode because that's why we do this. That's why we're putting so much effort into YouTube to make these episodes. Everything that we're doing leads to this final step of actually making a sale. And we need to make sure that we're doing the right things along the way so that that happens. And in this episode, you're going to learn how. We're going to start out this episode talking about a misconception. Most people think that this is the main thing that you should focus on to generate a lot of revenue. And actually, it's important, but there's so many other things that are more important. Then we're going to look at 3 steps or maybe 3 stages of your video. Something you need to do before you film, what you need to do during filming, and what you need to do at the very end of your video. And if you have all those 3 steps in place, your videos will generate revenue. Okay, so let's talk about the misconception, being that you need 1 million views in order to get customers or get clients. Well, think about this. If you were speaking to a live audience, right? You're at an event, you're up on stage, you're speaking to 100 people in the room, what percentage of that room would become your customer, your client? Now, let's qualify this. Let's say the room is very qualified, like everyone is in there is your target audience, right? These are people who are there to hear from you, the expertise that you're sharing, the things that you're talking about on the stage. Everyone in the room is the prime audience to hear that message, all right? So you've got 100 people in the room. What percentage of them are likely to become leads, right? That if you offer them a gift or a way to opt into your list that sounds really appealing, what percentage of that room is going to want that? Like in a live setting, I found it to be a pretty high percentage. I would think 10% would be a real conservative amount. Maybe 50% might be pretty optimistic, right? But somewhere in there, you're going to have a percentage of people that do join your list and that do want a follow-up conversation with you. Now, if you have those follow-up conversations, you figured out the scenario, you're having this strategy session that you'll learn about on this channel, is it hard to conceive that 1 or 2 or 3 might become your clients, right? It's kind of like that speak to sell model. You speak, and then people in the audience are wanting what you have to offer. They want to work with you. And is it hard to conceive that out of 100 people in a live audience, your target audience, that they're going to want to work with you? Let's talk about another scenario. Let's say you're doing a webinar, okay? And there's 100 attendees in that webinar, right? Can you conceive that if you do the right type of webinar and you have the right call to action, right, that you'll make a sale, that you'll have a certain percentage of those attendees that will buy your program, right? Okay, why am I talking about this? Well, a lot of people think that if you have a video on YouTube, an episode that gets 100 views, they don't think that that's enough to make a sale, to get any revenue. And I want to propose that they're pretty similar. In fact, I wanted to say the word identical. I'm sure there's some differences there, but if you have a target audience, like if you're following the right strategy and these 100 people are people that are there to learn from you, from your expertise, and if you give them value, you're building a relationship just like you would if you're speaking from the stage. I'd actually propose that in a video, it can be even more personal because you're just talking to one person at a time versus on the stage, you're talking to the whole room. And so you're addressing everybody at the same time. When you're presenting virtually on a webinar, I've typically found that like as long as you've got 30 or 40 people, that's kind of like the starting point of where there's a real good energy in the group. If you have 50, 60, if you have 100 people in there, real high energy, there will always be a percentage of people in that size of group that want to work with you. So hopefully this conversation is creating kind of a little bit of a mindset shift, realizing that 100 views on a YouTube episode are really valuable, kind of if you have the right expectations or you prepare the right way. Like, what is the purpose of this video? Who is watching it? What am I going to do to strengthen that relationship? And what call to action am I going to have? So let's go over those 3 different steps. Okay, so how do you qualify? How do you make sure that the people watching your video are your target audience? Well, if you're familiar with my YouTube channel, you know that I talk about 5 different ingredients, okay? What I'm talking about now is ingredient number 1. So let me review all 5. Ingredient number 1 is my leaf strategy. Ingredient number 2 is the length of a video, 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, 3 is average view duration of 50% or higher. You just want to have a good retention rate. Ingredient number 4, you want to have custom thumbnails. And ingredient number 5, you want to launch 5 episodes per week and keep that going for a year or two. Okay, so those are the 5 ingredients to really get good results of lead generation from your channel. So how to qualify your audience, ingredient number 1, my leaf strategy. If you haven't watched day 4 and day 5 of this month's campaign, again, December, we've got 22 episodes. And on day 4 and day 5, I went into detail about that leaf strategy. So you should know exactly what I'm talking about there. Because you follow that step, you followed that leaf strategy, the 100 views that you're getting are quality views. So consider Mr. Beast. If Mr. Beast put out an episode and it got 100 views, he would consider that a failure. He considers it a failure if it only gets 10 million views, okay? But 100 views, just think about that. He would erase it. He wouldn't want to think about that video ever again. But he's not going after the same results we are. For us, it's a different paradigm. And because we do the leaf strategy, we've got the right audience. I've actually seen Mr. Beast speak and present, and he's presented to a group that wasn't in the millions, right? There were hundreds of people in the room, and it was very effective. A lot of people in the room took notes, loved his advice. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. You get 100 views on a video, you can really do something with that. Okay, so let's talk about that second step, and we're really talking about building a relationship. We're gonna be spending 10 minutes with them, and that's a good amount of time to really give value, and we're not selling. We're not pushing things on them. We're not telling them about our programs or our services or our products. We're answering their question. We're giving them value, and we're having a conversation with them. And that value, there's this reciprocity that's there, that they feel like, wow, I've really benefited from this. And they feel like they want to give back, right? So there's this relationship, there's trust that's there. The more real you are in your videos, maybe you're a little bit vulnerable, you're not trying to be so polished and professional, but you're just being conversational, that actually builds trust. If you're filming in a home environment versus on green screen or in a corporate setting, but you're more relatable in a home setting, that also helps to build relationship. Ultimately, the best thing to do and the thing that you should be natural at is really giving value. So if you've given real value, you've really helped them out, you've kind of put yourself in their shoes and helped them with this specific question, the question that you're answering. As you help them, they receive that value and they see your expertise. They have a feeling or a sense that you are the expert, that you're a person that could really help them, and that will really help to build that relationship. Now, typically, before people actually become a lead, they've watched several of your episodes. So they've had the opportunity to do this multiple times, perhaps over multiple days. So they've strengthened a relationship in the first episode. They come back in the second one, they come back in the third. And then the third step is your call to action. At the end of your videos, you have to let them know what to do next. If you have an episode without a call to action, like what's the result going to be? What's the benefit of that? The benefit is you will have strengthened relationships. You'll have new subscribers. You'll have people that will start to follow you. But if they don't have a next step, that's where it stops. There needs to be an invitation, and it's worth actually putting a lot of thought and energy into doing it right. When I film content, oftentimes I don't film a lot of takes. If I say something wrong, I'll repeat that sentence. But a call to action is something that you might want to do a few takes to really get it right. Like, what was the energy like? Did that sound compelling? You're giving away something for free. So while I said that the whole episode we're not selling, at this end we are selling, but we're selling something that's free. Okay, we're just selling the value of it. Like, hey, I've got a free gift for you. This is what that gift is going to do for you. It's going to really benefit you. So let's give you a real example. What's the call to action for this actual video, right? I've got my book. It's A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube. Now, I've put 2 years of work into this book, and I'm really feeling emotion now because it's been a hard project to work on, but I've been putting everything into it because I really want to convey not just the power, not just what's possible, but I want to transfer like the how to get results on YouTube. And I feel like I've put it all in this book. So I want to give it to you as my gift. Now you're going to have to pay the shipping cost, right? There's a drop shipper set up so that when you pay the shipping cost, it'll print it and ship it to you. That's my gift to you. Okay. Now that's my call to action. And I didn't plan on getting emotional, but hopefully that conveys how valuable this book is and how much you should really want it. And when you're filming your video, you need to put that same that same energy. You need to really sell the value. Like if I were to add to what I just said about this book, if you go through the book, just like you're going through this 22 episode course on YouTube, you need to watch every episode. And if you get this book and you go through and you actually internalize what I teach in this book and you act on it, you will get results. You'll build a massive following on YouTube. You will generate leads in your business. You'll have a 7-figure business just from YouTube leads. So go ahead and click the link below. You can get access to that book for free.